Hello there, and thank you for tuning on to another episode of our scripture breakdown ministry. My name is David Abraham, and our scripture for today comes from 2 John 1, verse 7. And it says, "For many deceivers have come into the world, who do not confess Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh." This is a deceiver and an antichrist. I repeat, for many deceivers have gone out into the world, who do not confess Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. Now, I want to divide the scripture into two parts. The first part says, "For many deceivers have gone out into the world, who do not confess Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh." Now, who are the deceivers? The deceivers usually come in the form of religion, usually come in the form of churches, which is acceptable. They usually come in different forms, different shapes, and different sizes. And it says, "For many deceivers have gone out into the world." Now, the essence of these deceivers is to deceive, because anybody that deceives is a deceiver. The essence is to cajole people. The essence is to win people over into their enclave, into their kingdoms. In Matthew 7, 15 and 20, Jesus said, "Many shall come in my name." And he says that it speaks about, "By their fruits you shall know them." So any church that doesn't practice the fruit of the Spirit, any church that doesn't practice the doctrines of the Christ, as Christians, we've got to be observant. If we go to a local church in our area, peradventure we moved into a new area and we go to a church, we ought to be very vigilant. We ought to be very spiritually alert, considering how much they use the Bible. We've got to be alert on how the pastor or how the congregation conducts their services and how they reverence each other, how they dress, how they do their things, their way of life. Because many deceivers are out there waiting to devour, waiting to win over innocent and ignorant souls. It says, "For many deceivers have gone out into the world, who do not confess Christ." So the first thing will be the confession of Christ. If there is a church that does not confess Christ, that does not, in their course of preaching, their course of dispersing the sermon, they do not confess Jesus Christ, they do not refer to the Bible continuously, they do not use the Bible as their standard, is something that can be observed so easily, and one can decipher, one can determine with spiritual discernment, and with the help of God, we can know where the church is headed. We can know who the church reverences. We can know who is the master of their church. Then the second bit said, "This is a deceiver and an antichrist." So, in conclusion, anyone that does not confess Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh, that who does not believe in the resurrection power, who does not believe in the redemption package of Jesus Christ, who does not believe in the restitution, who does not believe in the forgiveness of sins, who does not believe that the love of God sparked off the coming of his son Jesus Christ, then it concludes that this is a deceiver and an antichrist. So anyone who is not for Christ and boldly confesses that Christ did not die for sins, and boldly confesses that Christ did not come in the flesh, and boldly confesses that they do not believe in Jesus Christ, is conclusively an antichrist. Now, I want to pray that God is able to lead us spiritually if we search for a church, that God is able to help us to be able to discover and help us to be able to move as we journey looking for a church, and He should be able to guide us and protect us so that we'll be able to land ourselves in a God-given, spirit-filled church, which ultimately will lead to spiritual growth, which ultimately will lead to spiritual endorsement, which ultimately will lead to us living in the will of God, that we may be able to fulfill our destiny. I thank you so much for listening, and God bless. Now, for any questions and comments, you could email me at thetubeministry@gmail.com. That is thetubeministry@gmail.com. Thank you.